Okay guys, I'm going to be making a different recipe today, which is fairly easy to veganize, and I'm not even sure I ever had a Crunchwrap because I don't know that they were around before I was vegan. In any case, I see them all the time advertised, so it's vegan Crunchwrap time, and what we're going to need for this is your choice of vegan meat. I've got some Beyond in here, and I seasoned it and added black beans to this and some onions. So that's the one thing we like to do, is add black beans to anything we're doing sort of Tex-Mex style. So you're going to need your vegan meat. You're going to need lettuce. We've got some vegan sour cream. I've made a pico, so I've got the tomatoes and onions mixed in here. It's not a full pico because there's no jalapeno in there. We're going to put nice, beautiful, spicy sauces on there. And there's no cilantro because of my daughter, but my version will have cilantro. I'm going to use some guacamole, which is not something you typically have on a Crunchwrap, but you're making your own, so do what you like. I've got some Tex-Mex style shreds here, and I have the big burrito tortilla shells. So you want the biggest one you can get. If it's not quite big enough, there's a way around that, so stay tuned. And I forgot one other thing, and that is going to be our vegan cheese sauce that we're going to add to this as well.
And of course we also need tostadas, and I've got some jalapeno flavored ones for an extra spicy kick.
Okay, you're going to start by getting the biggest tortilla shell you can, and this one is the Casa Mendoza burrito tortilla shells, because burritos tend to be bigger. And you're going to get that on a plate. So what you're going to do first is put your ground meat onto the... Is that how you want to do it, Chloe? This is typically you'd put your... You don't want to do it this way? Okay, she wants to change it up. But you could put your ground meat first, or cheese, or whatever.
Yeah, I'm doing the shreds because I want the shreds to kind of get melty. So, since that'll be directly touching.
So this is my daughter's assembled, and now we're going to fold it. So you're just going to start folding over your shell. Fold it like that, then fold the other side, and then fold the other side like this. And it's going to sort of angle to create a circular fold. Some sort of hexagon shape, I guess.
But you have a little gap there. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
So if you're using a big enough tortilla shell, your gap in the center won't be that big. And Chloe's fine with going forward like this, as opposed to cutting another tortilla shell to fill that gap, which is a method I'm going to show you with mine.
You're going to hold it like this and put it down in your pan. You're going to put it like that, press it down, so it starts to cook. Okay, so we'll give it about a minute at least. We're going to turn it. And you see how it just nicely folds and seals like that. And then you're just going to cook the other side for maybe another minute or so. I've got it on a medium heat. Started it off at about 6, so it's not too hot, but also warm enough to obviously do the cooking as necessary.
Okay, let me show you how I assemble mine.
Next, you're going to put your beef mixture. You're going to get your meat in the center of your tortilla shell. Now, we're going to put our vegan cheese sauce. So I just melted this in the jar because it was almost finished. And I'm just going to spread some right across my meat. You can obviously make your own, or you can just put cheese shreds if you want, and that's fine.
I'm using the Neal Brothers plant-based queso, and I'm using these jalapeno flavored tostadas.
Then you're going to take one, ideally one that's not broken, and you're going to put it right on top of your meat and cheese. And in the meantime, now I'm getting my pan onto my stove to warm up. Now you will put your sour cream. I'm using the tofutti sour cream, which is really good. I'm just going to spread this on here. You can of course use any vegan sour cream that you like. I'm also putting guacamole on here, although it's not traditionally put on there, but hey, I would add guacamole later, so why not? So I'm going to just spread thin-ish layer of guacamole. Now, I'm going to put my lettuce. I'm using iceberg lettuce, which typically is crispier, and my daughter feels like it stays crispier when you make things like burritos and tacos. I'm going to get my tomato mixture on next. Okay, so I've got tomatoes and onions in here. So it's not a true pico. And I'm adding my favorite cilantro. And look how well my cilantro plant is doing. I had cut a bunch of it off and one little part decided to say, no, I gotta give you more cilantro. So it is growing beautifully. So I'm gonna add some cilantro on top of there. Okay, so I've got my cilantro on there. Doesn't this look pretty? I've got, oh, I forgot to put extra cheese on here. I should have done that probably to start, but that's okay. I'm going to just add some cheese on top. It's all going to be part of the same thing regardless. So I'm going to put extra cheese on here. Right now I'm just using the Violife Tex-Mex shreds. And now comes the seasoning. So we like it spicy as opposed to adding sauce to it afterwards. I'm going to add my jalapeno crema and just drizzle some on in here. Ooh, this looks so good. And my chipotle mayo I'm also going to put on here. We cannot have anything in this house without chipotle mayo.
Now, if the tortilla shells you get are not big enough to either leave a small hole like you saw in the one for my daughter, or to cover it completely, you're going to need to use another tortilla shell, a small one, or a piece of one. And mine, I'm going to cover that little hole by using a small piece of tortilla shell. If you are using a smaller shell, what you want to do is take your tostada, get a tortilla shell, cut a circle that's about the size of the tostada that you would then place on top of this before you wrap it. Because I'm using a bigger tortilla shell, I'm able to use a smaller piece to just cover that small hole that you saw on my daughter's, and it makes it a little more simple. But if you don't have this, cut a size around the exact same size as the tostada.
Fold it forward on one side, fold the other side, and angle it all around until it's all folded together. Ooh, I could probably move that over just a tiny bit. Just gauging that as I'm looking at it. Folding that there. And just about like that. So what you see here is where the little hole was on my daughter's. That hole is now covered by the little piece of the tortilla shell. And then we're going to just take this, flip it over onto the pan, and cook for a few minutes on one side until it all comes together nicely, and then turn it over and flip on the other side. Okay, give it a solid couple minutes depending how high your pan is. And then you're going to flip it over. Ooh, nice. Okay, so I already did a quick peek, and the bottom is beautiful. Looks just like the top, not too brown, just right. And that is how you make a vegan crunch wrap. Let me, instead of cutting it down the middle, it's nice and warm. I'm gonna give it one moment. I want to take a bite, or maybe I'll cut a small piece and show you, but maybe I'll just take a bite. Okay, let me try now. See, it's nice and firm, it's nice and crispy, and see the bottom, nicely toasted. Let me take a bite. Mmm, so good. You see the crunch, the tostada right in there? There you go, guys. Super delicious, nice and filling, easy to eat, vegan crunch wrap. You don't have to go without. You just have to modify it at home and make it your way. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video.